All right, guys, we're going to come to order, please. It's the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can we do that? Never mind.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It looks like we've kind of changed the order around.
We need a roll
fine.
call.
Roll call?
We need a roll call.
Julia Beckman,
Here.
Mike Davenport,
Here.
Don Renner,
Here.
Rick Pavanato.
Here. Okay, we kind of changed the order around, so we're going to go into closed session after. But right now, we're here to recognize the District 99 students who excelled in the 2016-2017 IHSA State Swimming and Diving Contest.
All right, so we have a few folks in the room because we got the times a little mixed up. Principal Schwartz is not here to recognize them. So
I know.
He said he will find you tomorrow at school. So, so why don't, we're going to have just each student stand up, and why don't you introduce yourself to the board, tell us your name and what year school you are and what events you do, and then we'll hand out some awards. You didn't tell me. They're all questions.
Just a little.
Answers.
Sorry, my name's Melanie. I'm a freshman.
Wow.
The event?
The events this year.
Yeah.
The 200 medley relay and the 200 free relay.
All right. Congratulations. Who's to bring with you?
My parents, Gary Scheibine and Lori Scheibine.
All right.
Okay. I'm Michaela Scheibine. I'm a
related.
junior, and I swim the 200 medley relay, the 200 free relay, 100 breaststroke, and the 400 free relay.
Wow.
And your parents.
Okay, well, I'm her sister. My dad and my mom. I'm Alyssa Reinholz. I'm a senior, and I swam the 200 medley relay, the 50 free, the 200 free relay, and the 400 free relay. And I'm here with Anna Reinholz and Andrew.
Congratulations, well done. Very nice season, and thank you for representing the school and the district with such high quality and dedication.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any plans to continue swimming in college?
Yeah, I already committed to ISU, so I'm going
nice.
to
All right.
become an elementary school teacher and minor in coaching.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Thank
you.
All right. All right.
I don't suppose they've decided yet, right?
I would like to swim.
Okay.
You would like to?
But you're not
Still
sure.
waiting to see? Well, I think you're on the right path.
You're on the right path
So-
for sure.
One wants to go to the Olympics.
Oh,
Olympics.
all
You
right.
decided that 2 years ago.
We will be cheering you on.
Yes.
That would be
Someday I want to see the cereal
fabulous.
box.
Wheaties. That's it. So,
And
all
I
right.
didn't realize we had a certificate for Coach Crick.
Oh, of course.
No.
Where are your parents? Come on.
We're going to continue with the rest of the meeting, but I believe our Director of Communications is going to come up and grab a picture of you guys with your certificates and coach and mom and dad. So stick around for that real quick. And then we're going to go into our meeting. You're welcome to stick around, but I hear there's homework to be done.
Talk amongst yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion to go into closed session?
I have to find the wording here. I move that we go into closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the district or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. and I read the red, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the district has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the district finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. That's the motion.
Second?
A second.
Thank you.
That's what
I thought he was seconding good.
I thought you were seconding, so.
And now you need a roll
Got
call.
a second and a second.
Yeah, a second and a second.
Julia Beckman.
Aye.
Mike Davenport.
Aye.
Don Renner. Rick Pavanato. Thank you.
We're coming back into order.
66?
We have been in open session, we have been in closed session. And now we're returning to open session.
She would wave the hammer at you.
And we're moving on to the reception of visitors.
Correct.
We have two opportunities from comments from the audience, and this one is intended for audience members to address the board about any agenda items. Anybody wish to address the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from November 21st, 2016 business meeting, November 21st, 2016 closed meeting, or December 5th, 2016 special workshop?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Julia Beckman.
Aye.
Rick Pavanato.
Aye.
Mike Davenport.
Aye.
Don Renner.
Aye.
Nancy Kupka.
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't here for the vote. Okay, moving on to recommendations and reports of the superintendent.
All right, just a couple of things tonight. The first on the list is revisit, I know you thought this was done and over, but it's not, of the 2017-28 school or 2017-2018 school calendar. There were a couple of items that were left to me from last year. One of those, and I would have liked to have been up and running with these earlier, but as you know, I'm new, so we're finally getting around to some of these. And one of them, there's two items that have come up. One is somewhat simple in concept, and that's parent-teacher conferences. The schedule committee, of which two returning members, Janice and Lisa, are in the room. They were served on that committee for us last year. Julie was on that committee taking notes, but she was in the room. Part of what came out of that decision last year was they found the best possible date that they could, which was the 4th of October for parent-teacher conferences. But the recommendation coming out of that committee and from Superintendent McDonald was to revisit this school year about, is that the appropriate time, the appropriate format, which we've started looking at some of that. What we're going to do is reform a committee to just look at parent-teacher conferences with the first point of order determining the correct date for them. And then we'll continue working forward on format and structure and all of those things. So we may come back to you to discuss moving that date on our calendar. And that does impact the approved calendar because there's currently no student attendance on that day. So we might move that day, we may modify that day, but that one will come back. The next item is for discussion is the day off before winter break, which is December 22nd. Is a day off for next year. However, a day in session that hasn't been there for at least 4 years is November 22nd, the day before the Thanksgiving holiday. In the discussions leading up to the approval of the calendar, there was discussion about keeping holiday breaks equal or even or at the same time as our partner elementary school districts. In trying to create a day that would protect us from snow days, we ended up with an unbalanced schedule between us and our partner districts. All of our partner elementary districts have the day off before Thanksgiving. They are all in session or planning to be in session on the 22nd.
Of December.
So they're off the 22nd of November, we're in. We're out the 22nd of December, they're in. So that causes a mismatch on the holiday break. The calendar committee talked through at least 4 different options as to how to handle this. One would be not to change it. Another one would be to swap the 2 22nds, the November 22nd and the December 22nd, being in session on the 22nd and using that as a capstone day to review final exams or have a final assignment or something in that nature. One that also was talked about that I'm leaning more towards as the days have gone on, which would be to flip the 22nds and then shift finals to the 20th, the 21st, and 22nd. That option is what most of the schools, Janice talked to a bunch of principals last week she had a meeting with many area principals and many of them have this schedule, and nearly all of them, that's how they run their final exams. And they say if bad weather comes or those kinds of things, they adjust, whether it's they have a longer day one day or they do it after final. They're going to cross that bridge with an emergency when they come to it, just as we cross bridges with emergencies. The final option, which I think might be a long-term option, I wanted to just put out there, this was something that was discussed at the table, which was the idea of eliminating a final exam schedule. As we've worked through assessment literacy and different ways of giving tests and ending semesters, the idea of an hour-and-a-half final exam is going away in a lot of classrooms. It's even going away in a lot of college classrooms. So we discussed around the table the idea of just doing regular school days for the last 2 weeks, finding a way to make sure that students don't all end up with all of their tests on a single day within those last 2 weeks. So you'd have to have some staggered time frame with certain periods we're allowed to give exams on certain days or some kind of structure like that. I believe that's the way that for final exams that we're headed in academically. However, I don't believe that the calendar is the vehicle for forcing that change. Right? That if we're going to talk about that change, let's talk about that separate from a calendar decision. Let's talk about the academic, the instructional purposes of that change, and let it stand on its own merit, and not use this as a backdoor to force that instructional change. So with all of that being said, I guess my recommendation to the board is that the board consider reopening the calendar and swapping those 2 days, November 22nd as a non-attendance day, and then in session on the 22nd, with us shifting final exams probably to the last 3 days. Since it is a board-approved calendar, I have no right to do that without you telling me that you have interest in it, nor am I going to talk to anybody beyond this unless I'm very confident that I would have board support in making that change, leaving this meeting. I will take questions at this point.
Is there any way to just do a half a day on November 22nd and have an early dismissal to get the day in the books?
On the
22nd of November.
Yeah, the challenge with, and that was the plan all along from the notes left behind me, was that the 22nd of November would be an early dismissal. That was the plan all along. But the challenge is that all of our elementary districts in our community
Are off that day.
are off, and I've heard back from many people that have said, we were under the impression all along that you would match holiday breaks. You're not matching on Thanksgiving, you're not matching on winter, so what happened to matching on breaks? And it's kind of hard for me to come back with those folks and say, oh yeah, well, we did, but we kind of matched, you know. It would make me feel a lot more comfortable for our families that if they were off on those holiday breaks, we were off and we matched up tightly.
And your current committee would support, the people who've been working on it would support this change, is that,
I believe so. Lisa, Val, Janice.
okay?
So there's 3 of the 9. So,
Okay, well,
and I do, so we've got 4 of 9.
I support this. You've said everything in your presentation that I was going to say in support of it, so.
And this will not change the start date or the fact that we will finish finals before the
Right.
holiday break, barring
snow and,
avalanche or something.
What it's doing is it's taking the emergency day, basically, off the calendar.
yeah, and praying.
And, right, but this was a discussion we had before.
It's a non-attendance day,
Yeah.
of which could be,
Right,
Staff
right.
required to attend the 22nd?
no, they were never anticipated to attend on the 22nd of December. That was a non-attendance, schools closed that day. The only way that it would have been in session was that if there was a snow day on the 19th, 20th, or 21st. And then we would have told staff and students, now you must report on the 22nd. I question even the legitimacy of that, once you tell people that you could
Right.
leave for
Got the day
vacation
off,
on the
yeah.
22nd.
They have their
That on the
flights
19th,
planned.
then we said, oh, wait, cancel your vacation plans. We had snow today and we need you to come in on Friday.
Yep.
It looks good on paper. I don't know how much it plays out on practice. I also have major concerns about attendance on the 22nd of November
Yeah,
Yep.
with the number of families that could be getting a jump on Thanksgiving break. And if, well, my one kid that's a sophomore has to go to school, but the rest of my kids
Are home, yeah.
are home, well,
Yeah.
he's
We
probably
gotta
not
drive
going to,
to Ohio and.
he's
we're
probably
leaving.
not going to be there anyway.
right.
I would support this recommendation.
I support it, but I do have a question,
Yes.
and this has to do actually with second semester, since we're reopening the
Yeah,
calendar. When we approved this calendar, and I was trying to find it, we had a community member who had a very specific request about maintaining a day off. And I thought it was Martin Luther King Day. but it was not.
I
thought it was two, but we're off.
2 dates. It was that and Columbus Day, because of the number of universities that
Right.
use that for college visits.
Visits.
And both of those remain off on the calendar. So.
Oh, so they are both off.
Yeah, the 9th and the 19th.
Yeah.
and the
That was my
whatever
only
day that
concern.
Martin Luther King.
It was, I thought it was Martin Luther King Day, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
So we
supportive of
maintained
this.
both of those.
It
Yeah.
was Martin Luther King.
I just think it's the right thing to do for our community.
So when I'm asking for support for this, what I'm asking for is, because we're not voting on it
I'm
tonight.
just going to say, we're not reapproving
We're
it.
not,
Bring
you
it
will
up.
eventually.
Yeah.
I will have to bring you an amended calendar. But I need to know with confidence as if you were voting tonight, because it would be detrimental to my ability to lead this district, to go out and say that the board is going to approve this change and then down the road
sorry.
not. So I need to make sure that at least 4 of you, before I leave this room tonight, are going to, with all great intention, live by that recommendation going forward. And if not, 5.
I will be supportive.
Yeah.
I will.
Me too.
Yeah, I will too. I'll just leave you guessing, Hank.
Nice.
I've got 4, Don.
He doesn't care
Maybe
anymore.
you do, and maybe you don't.
All right, so I will plan on communicating tactfully with our staff tomorrow that the board has given support for making that change, that we're going to reform the calendar committee. We're going to look at, because I'd like to bring you one time to vote on with
Yeah.
parent-teacher conference. I don't want to do this in multiple steps. So we're going to figure out parent-teacher conferences. We're going to make that change with the 22nds. And at a future board meeting, once we have all of that figured out, we'll bring it to the board for final approval. So thank you.
Terrific. I know it sounds like a calendar would be such an easy thing to do, but we all know it's not, so thank you very,
Yes.
very much.
Yes.
Now, do people know that that start date is firm?
With our discussions with the calendar committee, I made it clear that under no circumstances would I recommend to the board that we change the start date or the end date of the school year.
Or finals before break.
That's all
Or
set.
the finals before break.
Right, or finals, yeah, the
That's all
final
set.
exams will take place before break. Yeah, absolutely. We're not changing the end of a semester either in this. So really, the only major concerns that we have heard from the public and from our staff is really where parent-teacher conferences fall, which was meant to be discussed.
That's right.
That's right.
Here anyway.
That's right.
And these swap of the day off before Thanksgiving break is a major concern.
Okay.
Other than that, the rest stays the way it is.
Whether we approve it in April or we approve it in January.
Correct. I will not be bringing to the board any other things for the 2017-18 school year.
Okay.
We will, however, be forming a larger, broad scope committee to look at future calendars and setting priorities that other calendars are built around, and I will be bringing those priorities to the board to weigh in on whether that committee's vision matches the board's vision in how we build calendars,
And discussing the nature of final exams going forward, too.
which will be another side. So there's lots of layers in here. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to the committee, too.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of hard work in it.
Thank you for coming tonight to represent.
Freedom of information requests?
One received and one responded to.
Terrific. Moving on to the consent agenda, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the personnel report, retirement, certified resignation, classified, and the financial pages?
So moved.
A second.
Julia Beckman,
Aye.
Rick Pavanato,
Aye.
Mike Davenport,
I'll let you do that.
Don Renner.
Aye.
Thank you.
I thought he was leaving us guessing.
And Nancy Kupka.
Aye. Thank you.
you.
Motion passes. Recommendation for action, the approval of the curriculum proposals for
Oh, this is pretty
2017 through 18.
exciting.
I'll move to approve the 2017-18 curriculum proposals as presented, which consist of 2 proposals from each of the following departments: physical education, driver ed education, health, career, and technical education, and English and communication.
I'll second that.
Mike Davenport.
I just wanted to inform the board that we have received no further questions or follow-up from board members since then, nor have the plans changed since then.
Mike Davenport.
Aye.
Rick Pavanato.
Aye.
Julia Beckman,
Aye.
Don Renner,
Aye.
Nancy Kupka.
Aye.
It's exciting.
It is very, very exciting.
Nice job.
Thank you, Gina. Moving on, we have a recommendation for action of the approval of community engagement partner contracts.
So I'll make a motion to approve the proposed contracts of Marcia Sutter and George K. Baum and Company as presented, and authorize the board president, that'd be you, to sign them.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second that, unless somebody else wants to.
Mike Davenport,
Aye.
Julia Beckman,
Aye.
Don Renner,
Aye.
Rick Pavanato,
Aye.
and Nancy Kupka.
Aye, thank you, carries. And last but not least is the approval of the comprehensive annual financial report.
So I'll move to, I'll move to approve the comprehensive annual financial report as presented for the year ending June 30th, 2016.
I'll second.
And then can we have just a moment of
Sure
discussion?
we can?
Yes.
So I don't know if Mark wants to.
Well,
say
actually,
a few
I'll
words?
just say, we have John Epperson here from Miller Cooper, and I
Hello.
think he'd like to give a quick overview, some of the pieces of it. Sure. Miller Cooper, we were just clarifying, they audit over 30 schools in Illinois. Sometimes it's difficult to make sure we get in the queue because of the number of clients they have, but and they always accommodate us. But the positive side of that is we get a very experienced firm, and we rely on them for information throughout the year. So it's a good relationship we have with the firm. This is John. He's a partner with Miller Cooper.
Good evening. So Mark had provided you guys with a whole financial statement package, which included a couple of letters in the financial statements themselves. Just going to go over a few things within each of the letters and the statements. Nothing Nothing in great detail. You're free to ask any questions to me after I'm complete here. One of the letters, the first letter that we have is what's referred to as a required communication letter. Basically tells informs you of our responsibilities as it relates to the financial statements. In it, we also discussed that we perform what's referred to as a single audit or an audit over the federal grant programs. I could inform you that there were no findings associated with that, and you were issued a clean opinion with that. There were a few accounting pronouncements that were applicable this year, but nothing was major. We got full cooperation from everybody we worked with. Mark and his team are great and jury at getting us our requests in a timely manner, and we're able to push forward throughout the audit process. We are required to discuss and look to things associated with fraud, and nothing came to our attention throughout our entire audit process. And we didn't have any significant corrected misstatements that we had to post. We do certain things as sort of accounting services on an annual basis to get the statements from your books into financial statements, but there was nothing major that we detected during our audit process. That being said, the second letter that we send you is what's referred to as a management letter or a control deficiency letter. And all this is sort of, as we go through our audit process, we test certain controls, go through different processes and procedures, and we look, if there's anything we see that's either a control could be improved upon, or there may be a deficiency that could be significant associated with a failure of a control. We found nothing that was a material weakness or significant deficiency, which are the two higher levels of deficiencies we would communicate. There were a couple of other minor matters, very trivial. One had to do with the approval of disbursements. In each case, there was at least 2 signatures on them, and they were all for proper expenditures, but there's multiple signature lines on it that weren't signed, and I think that's a function of who's required to sign versus at different levels. And so we work with Mark, and Mark had said that they'll look at maybe modifying it to include and simplify the process a little bit. The other one had to do with an individual who no longer works with the district, was still on as access to an IMRF website, but that's just following when somebody's terminated, making sure that, say there's a bank signer, or if they have access to the general ledger system, that those employees' rights are removed at that time. And we just had one other item that was more of a suggestion. We saw that sales tax was paid on a few student activities or P-card transactions, and Mark had informed me on the process of why that would happen. Very, very minor amounts, but the district is supposed to be exempt from paying sales tax. So onto the financial statements as a whole. Nothing has really changed with the financial statements. Last year there was a new implementation of some new pension standards that put pension liabilities on the books. Beginning on page 1 of the financials is the management discussion analysis, which Mark puts together. It's really a good summary, good cliff notes basically to the financial statements as a whole. You could look to those to get a lot of good information on changes and his thoughts on factors bearing on the district, that sort of thing. The financial statements themselves, like I said, the structure really didn't change much. The first statement that there is the statement of net position, and you had about a $5 million increase in net position on a government-wide level. That's all your funds pushed together. And on a fund level, which is a little bit different basis of accounting, there was an increase of about $3 million during the year. There were no significant expenditures in excess of budget, only one related to transportation. One other was disclosed, but that's due to budgeting for an in and out state retirement contributions that are very hard to guess and pinpoint and put a number on. A lot of our districts don't even put a number to those within their budgets, because it is really subjective and changes on a year-to-year basis. I guess with that, were there any questions on the financial statements or the letters as a whole?
I think it looks
So thank you very much.
really great. Thank you.
Year after year after year after year,
17.
But he was counting.
we have just boring audits with no major findings. And
Keep it that way?
we would love to keep it that way.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I know that we owe you and Jerry a great debt.
Yes.
Jerry is a big help.
And just, we would be remiss if we just did not take a moment to thank you for this, because it's such a relief in these times to be able to.
Yes, it is.
Well, thanks. Actually, let me address two things that John touched on, because it's recorded. I want to make sure everybody understands the pieces that are involved. The first part, the governmental or the full-blown financial statements increased by $5 million. It's a whole different type of accounting. It's full accrual, and things like fixed assets, which we expend in the governmental funds, are capitalized and then depreciated. So the life safety work that we start doing, all these things that we start doing become assets. And so your assets grow when, in the normal basis, we use it on a budgetary basis. If we spend it, it's gone and it's not in our budget. So it's not our fund balance, it's just our total net asset position grows. And that fluctuates a lot, and a lot of schools don't even use that document. But it does grow, and some people would look at it, but you could get the misunderstanding about it. And just to clarify the piece about having unsigned some pages of the documents, Adri's really been doing great with helping us create documents like the P cards, trying to simplify that process. And so we've been trying new report formats for that, so we can she just now is able to just pull the data right off of from BMO, create the documents and send them out to the building. We're trying to make it more and more efficient. And there's spaces in there because it's now a unified form. But if we use a P card at the ASC, we don't have a department chair or a building principal. So it's a great point that John's making, that what we will need to do is just document, that process. And when signatures need to be made, things done at the ASC won't have a department chair. So we should just document it so that it's a cleaner system. So I just wanted to address those two. Thank you for your nice comments. And
It's really
Well,
appreciated.
I was anxious to make the motion tonight because of my, because of my enthusiasm about this. I mean, and if I understand it correctly, to this level of audit, I mean, isn't even legally, we're not required to go to this extent, correct?
Well, for the audit, we are, but for the reporting, we're not. For
Okay.
the comprehensive annual financial report is an additional step that
Got
we
it.
take. And, we could skip years and do it every couple of years. Some schools only do it periodically. The whole point of it is to make sure that we have a format and we present all the information for which there are national standards. And so we want to make sure that we make it so that our CAFR can be put up against any place in Tennessee or California, and you can make comparisons, and the basis of accounting is the same, and the reporting levels are the same, so that.
In the last 17 years, we've received the highest recognition for.
Yes.
Correct. And so, expecting that to happen again, obviously.
Well, and Miller Cooper, their firm helps us a lot too, because GASB 68 was, I don't know how many pages, 50 pages of, so there's quite a bit of stuff to keep up on, and they help us with interpreting that and help us keep it right. So it's and as when I was in auditing, that's what I used to have to do as well, So it's a team, it's a
Well,
team approach.
As board members, we have a large fiduciary responsibility to our constituents, and, knowing that we're so solid in this way helps me sleep better at night.
Exactly.
It sure does.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you, Mark.
And thank
And thank
Jerry
you, Jerry.
and Miller Cooper too.
Thank you, Miller Cooper.
Absolutely.
So there's a motion and a
There's a
second.
motion and a second.
Mike Davenport.
Aye.
Rick Pavanato.
Aye.
Julia Beckman.
Aye.
Don Renner.
Aye.
And Nancy Kupka.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. We move on to the second reception of visitors. Thank you very much. The second reception of visitors intended for audience members to address the board on any issue. Does anybody wish to address the board? Seeing none, we'll go on to communication and announcements. Lend. Don, Hank?
We haven't met, so
Okay.
there's nothing to report.
Julia Sassett.
We had a board meeting in the new office the other night. It's pretty cool. We took a tour. It's I think they're going to have like a real grand opening at some point, but invite anybody over there. It is on Ogden and Lyle, and lots of great space that they're using very efficiently, but they still have a lot of things to store, but they've moved equipment in from many locations, and they went to great pains to tell us they reused all their furniture, and any furniture they've gotten is also used, so it's not all brand new, but it looks great, or whatever. Have you been over there yet, Scott? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's very nice, so that's moving along, and then we did have a very brief board meeting, and you'll appreciate this. The SACID board has been trying to have a self-evaluation with Barb Toney since last June, I'd say. Scheduled 2 meetings with her, because, we know how hard it is to schedule a date. 2 meetings with her, neither of which did we have enough people able to come to make it worth her while. So we still haven't had a self-evaluation, and sometime soon we hope to. It's just happened to be on dates when a lot of people couldn't be there, and it's not worth it, to do just 2/3 of the board. It's just hard to get 18 people together for anything. You know how hard it was for us. Yeah, but at any rate, we're very happy about that new location.
Julia, is there anything on the Education Foundation?
Just Pizza Wars is coming up. Nothing else.
Buy tickets online.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I keep forgetting that.
Nothing else to report at this point.
IASB, Deb isn't here. Upcoming board meetings, January 9th, we will have a special workshop meeting in the new year. We will have, oh God, a special workshop meeting
Still
at
my
7
heart.
o'clock here. What?
Be still my heart. It's
still
going
my
to be
heart, yeah.
January already.
And then on January 23rd, we'll have the regular business meeting at 7:30 PM here at the Administrative Service Center. Since we have a few minutes, let us just tiptoe quickly through the parking lot. District 99 presenting at IASB. We're working on that for next year?
Yes, so the cabinet all are working on presentations either individually or as teams. And they are supposed to report back to me at the end of January because proposals are due in mid-February
That'd be
as
cool.
to where they're at in submitting a proposal. And I'm going to partner up with Jill.
Great.
Talk about sharing our stories.
Parent-teacher conferences, we can take off because it's being addressed.
Well, it'll come back eventually, yeah.
I know, but it's
We can take it off the parking lot.
Take
It's
it off
in
the parking
progress.
lot.
It's out of the parking lot because it's being
Right.
It's
driven.
moving down the expressway.
It's no longer parked.
The joint board meeting
It were-
with partner districts?
It is kind of moving. It's on public transportation.
Well,
we're
let's try to set a date during next quarter, you think?
Well, we're going to try that, we're going to try meeting at the DuPage
Oh,
Division.
the division,
Okay.
yeah.
And we're going to see how that works.
So the spring meeting.
I am going to talk to Barb Toney tomorrow night, and because I'll be meeting with her for another board function, and ask her what the possibility is of us and the partner districts reserving some tables in the room so that we
Could sort of be together.
Yeah.
intermingled
Next-
at that next meeting. We'll see how that goes. And I informed my partners that my board members will be very influential with their board members about meeting on a more formal basis.
Okay. Anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mike?
Second.
Second for Julia. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.